I've been working the graveyard shift at KTRK 104.7 for 3 years now. It's a small AM station that broadcasts to long-haul truckers across the Midwest corridor. Nothing glamorous, just traffic updates, weather reports, and the occasional request for friends in low places to keep the drivers awake through Iowa cornfields. The job pays decent for overnight work, and I like the solitude. It's just me, my coffee, and whoever's out there on the dark highways, hauling freight while the rest of the world sleeps. The truckers who call in are usually good people, tired, lonely, grateful for a human voice to break up the monotony of endless asphalt. That's why what started happening 3 weeks ago has me so rattled. It began with a call from someone identifying himself as Big Rig Bobby on I-80 eastbound. Nothing unusual there. Truckers love their handles, and I-80 is our bread and butter. But when Bobby started describing his location, things got weird fast. "Yeah, I'm about 15 miles past the Clearwater exit, heading toward that big truck stop with the chrome shop," he said, his voice crackling through the static. "Traffic's backing up pretty bad here at the Route 456 interchange." I paused, finger hovering over the traffic update button. "Bobby, can you repeat that location? Did you say Route 456? "That's right. You know the one where they got that big overpass with all the graffiti. Says the road goes ever on in red letters." I pulled up our traffic monitoring system. There is no Route 456 anywhere in our broadcast range. I-80 runs straight as an arrow through that section. No major interchanges for 30 miles in either direction. And I've driven that stretch myself. There's no overpass with graffiti, just flat farmland. "Bobby, are you sure about that route number? I'm not showing any." The line went dead. I figured it was just a mistake. Tired drivers mix up route numbers all the time. But over the next few nights, more calls started coming in from roads that don't exist. Midnight Express called in from Highway 77, reporting a jackknifed semi near Phantom Creek Bridge. There is no Highway 77 in our coverage area, and I couldn't find any bridge by that name on any map. Thunder Road reported construction delays on Old Mill Highway, describing a detour through something called Whisper Valley. Our state DOT contacts had never heard of either location. The descriptions were always so detailed, so specific. These weren't confused drivers. They were describing landmarks, mile markers, even the businesses they were passing. One trucker, Night Owl Nancy, spent 10 minutes talking about a 24-hour diner called The Last Stop Cafe on a road called Memory Lane Highway, complete with a review of their apple pie and a complaint about the broken air conditioning in the restroom. I started keeping a notebook, writing down every impossible location. In 3 weeks, I've logged calls from the Crimson Highway. Trucker reported seeing abandoned cars along the shoulder, all with their doors open. Route 13 north through Salvation County. Trucker mentioned passing a church with no walls, just a steeple and pews sitting in an empty field. The Broken Circle Interstate, described as having the same mile marker, mile 77, repeating every few minutes. Shadow Valley Parkway. Trucker said the road had no white lines, and his headlights only illuminated about 10 feet ahead. The calls kept coming, night after night. Different voices, different handles, but all reporting from roads that couldn't possibly exist. I started wondering if this was some elaborate prank by the trucker community, but the voices sounded genuinely tired, genuinely concerned about road conditions and delays. Last Tuesday, I decided to trace one of the calls. When Diesel Duke called in from something called the Forgotten Mile on Highway 999, I kept him talking while running a trace through our phone system. The call was coming from inside our broadcast range. specifically from a stretch of I-80 about 40 miles east of the station. But Duke was describing a road that curved through mountains. Our area is completely flat. He mentioned passing the Boneyard truck stop and seeing those weird blue lights in the distance that hurt to look at. "Duke," I said carefully, "can you see any mile markers, any exit signs?" "Nah, man. This road don't have any of that stuff. Just these old wooden signs every now and then. Can't read 'em though. The letters keep changing when I try to focus on 'em." "Changing?" "Yeah, like they're shifting around, making my eyes water. Hey, you ever hear of a place called the Terminal? I think I'm seeing signs for it up ahead." My blood went cold. "Duke, I need you to pull over right now. Find the first safe place and..." The line went dead. When I tried calling back, I got a disconnected number message. I contacted the State Highway Patrol, gave them Duke's license plate number from our caller database. They found his truck the next morning, pulled over on the shoulder of I-80, engine running, driver door open. No sign of Duke anywhere. According to the GPS in his truck, the vehicle had been stationary for 6 hours, but Duke had been talking to me just 30 minutes before I called it in. They're still looking for him. Since then, the calls have gotten stranger, more frequent, and the truckers are starting to describe things that make my skin crawl. Chrome Angel called 2 nights ago from the asphalt ocean, describing a road that stretched beyond the horizon in all directions. No turns, no exits, just endless straight highway under a starless black sky. She said her fuel gauge hadn't moved in 4 hours, and when she tried to stop, her brakes wouldn't work. "The line went quiet," she whispered, "and I realized there's no wind out here, no insects, no sound at all except my engine. It's like the whole world is holding its breath." I never heard from Chrome Angel again. Last night was the worst call yet. A woman identifying herself as Lost Highway Lucy called in, sobbing. "I've been driving for 3 days," she cried. "The road keeps changing behind me. When I check my mirrors, it's not the same highway I just drove on. Different pavement, different landscape. And there are other trucks out here, but when I try to radio them, no one answers. They just drive alongside me with their running lights off, like ghost trucks." "Lucy, what's your location?" "I don't know anymore. The GPS just shows static, but I can see your radio tower in the distance. It's the only light in this whole dark world. I'm trying to drive toward it, but I never get any closer. It's like I'm driving on a treadmill." I looked out the studio window. Our transmission tower was dark. We'd had the beacon lights repaired just yesterday, and they weren't scheduled to be on. "Lucy, our tower lights aren't..." "Wait," she interrupted. "There's a sign up ahead. Big green highway sign. It says..." "Oh God," it says, "now entering nowhere population. Those who travel the roads that aren't there." The line went dead. I'm writing this because I need people to know what's happening. I've contacted the FCC, the state police, even some paranormal investigators I found online. Nobody believes me. They think it's either a hoax or some kind of mass hallucination caused by trucker fatigue. But I have the recordings. Hours and hours of truckers describing impossible roads, impossible places. And the descriptions are getting more detailed, more terrifying. Tonight, I got a call from someone new. A voice I didn't recognize, but somehow sounded familiar. "Hey there, radio man. This is Big Rig Bobby. Remember me? I'm calling from that Route 456 I told you about. I wanted to let you know. I found where all these roads lead." "Bobby, we thought you were. Where have you been?" "Been driving, friend. Been driving the roads that aren't there. And I got to tell you, they all end at the same place. There's a truck stop at the end of all these highways. Big place, lots of parking. All the missing drivers are here." What do you mean, missing drivers? Drivers who took the wrong exit, made the wrong turn, ended up on roads that don't exist on any map. We're all here now. Chrome Angel, Thunder Road, Midnight Express. Even some drivers from way back, guys who have been driving these dark highways since the 1950s. My hands were shaking. Bobby, where exactly are you? We're at the terminal, Radio Man, the last truck stop. And here's the thing, we can see your tower from here. That little blinking light in the distance. We can hear your broadcasts too. Crystal clear. How is that possible? Well, that's what I called to tell you. See, we figured out something important. Those roads we've been driving, they're not really roads at all. They're channels, radio channels. And your station, it's the hub. All these phantom highways are broadcasting from your tower. I felt the room spinning. That's impossible. Is it? Think about it. Radio waves travel in straight lines, right? But what if some of those waves took a wrong turn somewhere? What if they created their own paths, their own highways in the spaces between frequencies? And what if truckers who were listening to your station at just the wrong moment, in just the wrong place, got pulled into those radio highways? Bobby, that doesn't make any sense. Doesn't it? How do you think we're able to call you from roads that don't exist? We're broadcasting to you, same as you're broadcasting to us. We're part of your signal now. The phone went quiet for a moment. Then Bobby's voice came back, softer now. Here's the real kicker, Radio Man. We did some checking around here at the terminal. Talked to some of the old-timers. Turns out this has been happening for decades. Every radio station that broadcasts to truckers eventually starts getting calls from the phantom highways. It's part of the job, part of the frequency. What are you saying? I'm saying you're going to keep getting these calls, more and more of them, because the roads that don't exist are spreading, getting stronger, and eventually what? Eventually, you're going to get curious. You're going to want to see these roads for yourself. And late one night, you're going to get in your car and drive out to where one of these calls came from. You'll be looking for answers. And that's when you'll see it. A road that wasn't there before. An off-ramp that doesn't appear on any map. And you'll think, just a quick look, just to see where it goes. My mouth felt dry. Bobby. We'll save you a parking spot, Radio Man. The terminal's got plenty of room. And the coffee's not bad, considering we're all technically dead. The line went dead. I'm looking out the window now. It's 3:47 a.m. and our transmission tower is dark, just like it should be. But in the distance, on the horizon where I-80 stretches into the darkness, I can see something that wasn't there before. A faint green glow, like the light from a highway sign. I think I can almost make out the words. Phantom Highway, next exit. I should stay here. I should finish my shift, go home, pretend none of this ever happened. But I keep thinking about all those drivers out there on roads that don't exist. Lost, confused, needing help. And I keep thinking about Bobby's words. We can see your tower from here. If they can see our tower, maybe I can see the terminal. Maybe it's time to find out where the phantom highways really lead. I'm going to leave this post here, set to auto-publish at the end of my shift. If anyone else works in radio, especially stations that broadcast to truckers, watch out for calls from roads that don't exist. Don't try to trace them. Don't try to help. And if you're ever driving late at night, and you see an exit that doesn't look familiar, an off-ramp that seems to shimmer in your headlights like it's not quite there, keep driving. Don't take that exit. Because once you're on the roads that don't exist, the only destination is the terminal. And the radio never stops playing.